Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So, welcome to the third session and final session. In today's paper, I have, I think, some 29 questions. Sorry, 38 questions. I have 38 questions. They are from diverse themes, not like one specific topic. And most of the questions are from current affairs. And some of the themes which we have not discussed in the previous two sessions, they are covered here. Okay. As I said in the last two sessions, the focus is not only on the question, the focus is on the theme of the question itself, that we should try to know more about them. And even if you have other question, or like if you have any other question from that theme, you should be capable of solving them. Okay, so let's start our today's session. I will start with giving you 11, 12 minutes with question number 1 to question number 10. You have the question paper. Those who are watching it online, you can download question paper 3 from video description, and you can also see it here. So I will start with, I will give you 10, 11 minutes for first 10 questions. You get 12 minutes. But Sorry? Uh, जब यूपीएससी इस पे पूछ चुकी है इसलिए आया था कि तभी के तभी न्यूज़ में था वो, एग्जैक्टली तभी के तभी न्यूज़ में था, बट इन जनरल बिल्कुल पढ़ो इसलिए, जैसे PM 2.5 और PM 10 तो पक्के से याद रखो। वो अगर मान लो प्रीलिम्स में नहीं भी आए तो एयर पोल्यूशन मेंस में काम आएगा आपके। आप लिख सकते हो कि WHO का स्टैंडर्ड है, हमारा एम्बियंट एयर क्वालिटी स्टैंडर्ड ये है, तो एज अ डेटा तो हमेशा काम ही आ सकता है ना। एयर पोल्यूशन बहुत ही प्रिवलेंट टॉपिक है मेंस के लिए भी, तो उस लिए भी पढ़ सकते हो। अटेम्प्ट नहीं कर रहे, हो गया, चलो। ओके, लेट्स डिस्कस द क्वेश्चंस। Okay, so question number 1, question number 2, and question number 3, and question number 4. They are essentially about climate change mitigation. The question number 1 is about solar geoengineering, and then 2, 3, and 4, they are about carbon capture and storage. So carbon geoengineering. When we talk about mitigating climate change, we talk about solar geoengineering or we talk about carbon geoengineering. So in solar geoengineering, global warming is happening. The goal is that what if we somehow reduce the fraction of insolation which reaches to Earth, right? So Earth का जो heat budget है, whatever heat is coming to Earth, अगर हम उसी को हम कम कर ले, so even if we are emitting a lot of greenhouse gases, we still will be able to fight against climate change, global warming and climate change. That is the idea behind solar geoengineering. This is frankly not considered a very good way forward, simply because this can be used as a excuse by oil companies and fossil fuel companies that they can keep emitting, keep pumping greenhouse gases. That हम तो ये कर ही रहे हैं, तो अब emission कम करने की क्या ज़रूरत है? But nonetheless, it does remain in use, and there are many such techniques. One of that is stratospheric aerosol injection. It involves injection of reflective aerosol particles into lower stratosphere to scatter incoming solar radiation back to space. That is the correct definition of the technology. It would address the root cause of climate change by chemically neutralizing excess CO2 in the atmosphere. First and second can't be true together. So second, of course, is not correct here. It could accelerate stratospheric ozone depletion through chemical reactions on aerosol surfaces. This is true. This is one of the criticism of stratospheric aerosol injection. Answer here is 1 and 3. So let me tell you more about solar geoengineering techniques. Every solar geoengineering technique relies upon this idea that somehow we increase the albedo of either the surface or of the atmosphere. Idea बहुत simple है solar geoengineering का. Atmosphere is transparent to incoming high frequency infrared radiation. And I mentioned that in the previous classes that after reflection, frequency does not change. Absorption, as that infrared is absorbed, and that becomes long wave. So now when Earth heats up and starts emitting radiation back, it becomes long wave infrared radiation. So the idea here is that if we can increase the albedo of the either surface or of the atmosphere, then we will be able to reduce how much heat energy Earth as a planet receives. So there are some really crazy ideas. There is a crazy idea of let's install many mirrors into space, and those mirrors will reflect sunlight back to the space. Or let's spray aerosols. Remember, most of the aerosols are cooling. Yeah, पढ़ा होगा हमने. Few aerosols of course contribute to warming. There's a black carbon that can contribute to warming, but most of the aerosols, they contribute to cooling. But aerosols also are pollutants. जो particulate matters जो atmosphere में है, they are also like aerosols. In fact, there is a very funny and एक समझ लो कि एक irony है अभी. जैसे अभी just last year एक report release हुआ था that अगर हम global warming का impact देखते हैं, तो we see that India का जो average temperature increase है, वो उतना नहीं है जितना ideally होना चाहिए. If you look at the global average and look at the other areas. And one of the factor was air pollution. That air pollution जो है, जो pollutants हैं, they have high albedo, जो suspended particles हैं, they have very high albedo, and that is mitigating the impact of global warming to some extent, right? But that does not mean we do not have to tackle air pollution. I'm simply telling you this was one of the research papers from last year. So that is why the goal here is to spray aerosols which are highly reflective into stratosphere. But there is a concern that those aerosols will provide surface to ozone depleting substances, and ozone layer is also in the stratosphere, and as a result of that it can contribute to ozone depletion. So third is correct. There are other ideas, by the way. For example, there is this idea of brightening marine cloud. कि जो marine areas में हम क्या करेंगे? We will spray marine water above oceans into nebulized form. The water immediately will vaporize, but that salt will be left. And that salt will act as a nuclei where cloud will condense. But if cloud is condensing above ocean with help of that salt particle, that will be a brighter cloud. And that brighter cloud will have very high albedo, and that will reduce the amount of heat energy Earth receives from sun. Right? So a lot of things. Cirrus cloud thinning. That is another very famous technique. So because cloud का जो impact on climate change है बहुत ही complicated है. Few clouds contribute to cooling, few clouds contribute to warming. जैसे जो lower clouds हैं, they contribute to cooling. They have higher albedo. Give me example. Stratocumulus cloud. Lower clouds, cirrus cloud, that contributes to warming. So the idea of cirrus cloud thinning is that if we can disperse cirrus cloud, so cirrus cloud का जो warming impact है, जो more absorption है, that will be less, and we can mitigate global warming. So all of these techniques which I just mentioned, all of these are examples of what is called solar geoengineering, but they do not solve the problem at the root cause. They're essentially solving the symptom of the problem. तो यहाँ पे first and third true है, answer is only 2. Okay, next questions, all of them are about carbon capture and storage. Remember, carbon capture and storage, either we can do some technological, industrial mechanism, we can do that, or something which already happens in the nature, and we can try to increase the rate of that process. We can try to enhance this process itself. So we already know that oceans are the greatest carbon sink on this planet. They store huge amount of carbon dioxide. But we also know that huge amount of carbon dioxide absorption by ocean causes acidification, which is overall not good for marine organism. And it saturates how much CO2 ocean water can absorb. So the goal of ocean alkalinization or ocean alkalinity enhancement here is that we spray base materials which have basic property, so they are not acid, they are base, such as lime, such as olivine, and that increases the alkalinity. And that alkalinity increase, that will raise the pH. Remember, this is an alkaline material. It is not an acid, it is a base. So it is going to increase the pH, and it will increase the concentration of carbonate ions. It will compensate that negative consequence of acidification of ocean. And it shifts the carbonate equilibrium, allowing the ocean to absorb more atmospheric CO2. That is exactly what we are trying to attain here. That as we again increase the pH of ocean water, it becomes capable of absorbing more and more amount of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. So the goal of ocean alkalinity here is that we want to increase the sink capability of ocean. Answer is all three. However, how this will impact other organisms, how it will impact the marine equilibrium, these things cannot be predicted with very high precision. As a result of that, we have to be very careful in any such initiative. So यहाँ पे जो है, all three are correct. Hydrated lime, olivine, yes. Raises pH, yes. Shifts the carbonate equilibrium, allowing oceans to absorb more atmospheric CO2, yes. Yes. Okay, तो यहाँ पे when we talk about, ठीक है, दो चीजें साथ में हो रही हैं. Carbonic acid is a weak acid, but it does release nonetheless H+, which essentially is associated with acidity. Okay? Now the amount of carbonate bicarbonate ion, which otherwise would have been available for marine organism for shell formation, that decreases when ocean becomes more and more acidic. We discussed that in the previous class. So the shell formation activity here, that gets affected. So if you are now using, one of the way how oceans are great sink is that shell formation. That marine organisms, they form shell, when they die, they accumulate, they become sedimentary rock. So this is one of the best way, because that carbon is now going to be stored not for few decades, it is going to be stored for few thousands of years at the bottom of the ocean. In this case, by improving the concentration of carbonate ions, we essentially allow more formation of calcium carbonate. We increase the availability of carbonate ion for the shell formation, and that essentially will improve that carbon sink capability. This is what we are trying to do. Acidification reduces the availability of carbonate ion, right? We are improving the carbonate ion availability so that more and more shell formation can happen, and that will lead to better, more storage of carbon dioxide by the ocean. So that is why even statement 2 is correct here. Okay? So all three are correct here. Question number 3. क्या होगा आंसर? Answer will be B. Statement 2 does not explain statement 1, but both 1 and 2 are correct. Achha, I should tell you, there is a very famous NGO from India which is at the center of enhanced weathering. We talk about carbon capture and storage. बहुत सारे तरीके हैं, उसमें जो सबसे इफेक्टिव तरीका है, जो कि इकोनॉमिकली चीपर है एंड बहुत ज़्यादा कुछ नेगेटिव कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस नहीं है, एंड हैज़ एक्चुअली शोन गुड रिजल्ट, इज एनहांस्ड रॉक वेदरिंग. एंड इसका बैकग्राउंड ये है, few years ago, Elon Musk had announced a competition about the best carbon capture storage technology, and 3 initiatives were given this award, and the top award was given to this NGO, which is doing some remarkable work in India, but as well as in other countries. This is called MATI. So MATI अर्थ के बारे में जाके पढ़ना, and इनका जो सबसे important work जो है वो यही है, enhanced rock weathering है, right? And in fact इनका जो work है that was picked up by TED, and if you will find a like very good video of TED education, that what they are trying to do. So in many parts of the world, mostly in India, they are doing that enhanced rock weathering. So this is why, अब देखोगे UPSC ने 1-2 बार इस पे already question पूछ रखा है, and I have this question here, तो इसका एक बेनिफिट तो यही है that it involves spreading finely ground silicate rocks such as basalt on agricultural land, which helps in carbon capture and storage. Again, the idea is that this spraying of basalt that essentially will lead to more carbonate formation. So carbon will be stored into solid form. And then with help of rainfall, it will accumulate into rivers, and from rivers, it will accumulate into oceans. While simultaneously, it will also improve the soil quality. So that is an additional benefit of enhanced rock weathering. But why it can do carbon capture and storage, that is not explained by statement 2 here. So answer here is B. Both statement 1 and 2 are correct, but statement 2 does not explain. ऐसे क्वेश्चन में हमेशा हमको याद रखना है that there should be a causal relationship, that this should be cause and this should be effect. If you do not have a causal relationship and both are correct, then answer will be B. कम का होने का मतलब ये नहीं है कि नहीं होता है. Basalt does contain a small amount of silicate and उसी को हम यूज़ करें. देखो हमारा गोल क्या है, अब सिलिकेट हम अलग से बनाएंगे तो नहीं ना, आप ऐसे सोच लो. मतलब सिलिकेट हम बनाएंगे तो नहीं ना, लाइक ऐसे तो नहीं है कि whatever technology we implement, why this is so remarkable, why this was given that first award, because ये economically बहुत feasible है. तो basalt naturally available है हमारे पास. Basalt does include a small amount of silicate and that is more than enough. तो इसमें जो हमारा कॉस्ट होगा खाली ट्रांसपोर्टेशन कॉस्ट होगा कि हमको बसाल्ट, अब जैसे मान लो वी आर डूइंग दिस इन महाराष्ट्र मध्य प्रदेश, अब वहाँ पे बसाल्ट अवेलेबल नहीं है तो हमको लेके आना पड़ेगा बसाल्ट. बट अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट जो फॉर्म वॉट एवर वी आर ट्राइंग टू स्प्रे उसको मुझे बनाने की जरूरत नहीं है. सो दैट इज वाई बसाल्ट इज अ वेरी गुड कैंडिडेट. सो वी ऑलवेज हैव टू रिमेंबर दैट वॉट एवर टेक्नोलॉजी वी आर डूइंग इट ऑल्सो हैज टू बी इकोनॉमिकली फिजिबल. ठीक है, सो आंसर हियर इज बी. Okay, this is, what about this question? Okay, and perfectly fine if you did not attempt it. There are two type of, so when we talk about industrial carbon capture and storage, now forget about escalating the natural process. जैसे मान लो if we increase the forest cover, that also is carbon capture and storage. We do ocean alkalinization, that is carbon capture and storage. Right, all of that. Enhanced rock weathering, natural process, उसी को हम escalate कर रहे हैं, that is carbon capture and storage. When we look at the industrial process, then there are a lot of things जो कि हमने invent किया है. So one type of method is called pre-combustion capture, another is called post-combustion capture. Pre-combustion capture is nothing but coal gasification. कि आपने coal को लिया, coal is passed through very high temperature steam, and that coal becomes CO plus H2. So I take carbon plus water at, not water exactly, steam at very, very high temperature. And I'm simply writing carbon, but it will include a lot of other things. And that will make CO plus H2. We call this synthetic gas, syn gas. But that CO further oxidizes. So you'll find that a huge amount of CO2 is being emitted along with hydrogen. And hydrogen is a good fuel. We already have established, if you're science and tech में मैंने बताया भी था, hydrogen is a very good fuel. So in post-combustion capture, pre-combustion capture का focus ये होगा that even before combustion, CO2 is being released. We are going to remove that CO2. We are going to capture CO2, store it into geological repositories. Post-combustion capture में क्या होगा? You burn coal, you burn fossil fuel, and whatever CO2 is being released as a result of flue gas, you capture that CO2 and you store it. So that is the difference between first pre-capture and post-capture. So pre-capture is coal gasification. This chemical looping combustion is an example of post-capture, post-combustion capture. A post-combustion capture में देखो सबसे बड़ा problem क्या है? That when I burn coal, खाली CO2 तो नहीं निकल रहा. Lot of other things are also getting emitted. You have sulfur dioxide, oxides of nitrogen, particulate matter. So that flue gas comprises of multiple things. उसमें से selectively CO2 को capture करना, that requires absorption. That is energy intensive process and expensive, right? तो फ्लू गैस से CO2 को कैप्चर करना वो खुद में एक्सपेंसिव है, टेक्नोलॉजिकली चैलेंजिंग है. सो इस प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करने के लिए 2 मेथड्स आर यूज्ड. वन इज कॉल्ड ऑक्सी-फ्यूल कंबशन. And another is called chemical looping combustion, जिसमें मैंने क्वेश्चन बना रखा है. So in oxy-fuel combustion, आप जो कोल को बर्न करोगे वो आप एयर के साथ नहीं करोगे. रिमेंबर, बर्निंग के लिए मुझे खाली ऑक्सीजन चाहिए, बट इफ आई यूज एयर it is 78% nitrogen, so that releases a lot of nitrogen dioxide. I do not want that. I do not want to worry about that nitrogen dioxide. So what I will do, I will first separate oxygen from air, and then only in almost 100%, मान लो 99% oxygen, we are going to burn our coal. अब जो हमारा फ्लू गैस होगा, that will be mostly carbon dioxide and water vapor. ये तरीका है. This is, and so अब जो पूरा absorption का जो worry था, that flue gas comprises of multiple things. I do not have to worry about it. I will condense water vapor and I will capture carbon dioxide. So in oxy-fuel combustion, we essentially do not worry about that flue gas. But हमारा initial cost बढ़ेगा because I have to filter that oxygen from air. Another method is called chemical looping combustion. In chemical looping combustion, there are certain type of metallic oxides. The most famous is Fe2O3. But there are other metallic oxides also. So यहाँ पे जो combustion है, that combustion is happening with help of this oxygen here. तो अगर आप chemical looping combustion का पूरा setup देखोगे, it will look something like this. It will have two reactors, an air reactor and a fuel reactor. From air, you take oxygen, you take that metallic oxide, and then you use that fuel. So now that fuel is burning, again with help of only oxygen. So that fuel burns, जो हमारा flue gas है, that now mostly is carbon dioxide and water vapor. So again same thing, we are doing that oxy-fuel combustion, but we are essentially not doing that by separating oxygen. We are using a metallic oxide for it. And the most amazing part here is that once this oxygen does the combustion, it can again become that metallic oxide, and I can keep recycling that metallic oxide again and again. And that is why this word chemical looping, जो loop का मतलब यहाँ पे ये है, that I can keep using that same metallic oxide many times. And the fundamental benefit here is that हमारा जो flue gas होगा, that will be mostly carbon dioxide and water vapor. Condensed water vapor capture carbon dioxide. So look at the options now. अब क्या होगा आंसर? Can you tell me what will be the answer? A. The combustion of fuel is carried out using a solid metal oxide oxygen carrier which helps in CO2 capture. Post-combustion flue gas comprises of nearly pure CO2 stream along with water vapor. Both are correct, and this is also correct explanation of statement 1. So this is another very famous example of carbon capture and storage. Okay, question number 5, UPSC will never ask in this way. इतना complicated, इतना detail करके UPSC कभी नहीं पूछेगी. ये क्वेश्चन सिर्फ और सिर्फ मैंने इसलिए पूछा. पहले तो आई होप कि इवन इफ यू केम अक्रॉस फॉर दिस फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम, यू ट्राई टू अटेम्प्ट इट, राइट? ओके, फर्स्ट क्या है क्वेश्चन? पहले तो क्या है, करेक्टली मैच्ड है. प्लानिटरी बाउंड्री का डेफिनेशन है. Planetary boundaries framework identifies 9 Earth system processes that regulate the stability resilience of planet. Transgressing their boundaries risk pushing Earth outside safe operating space for humanity. This may seem like similar to climate tipping point, which I discussed in the first session, but it is not. Climate tipping point is only and only about climate system. Planetary boundary is a larger concept, which essentially focuses upon multiple different type of equilibriums which exist in as Earth has a planet. And of course climate is one part of it, but it is not only climate. I will show you all of the 9 planetary boundaries. 7 have been breached by the way as of now. So जो पहला statement है, that stratospheric ozone, इसका significance, I hope that everybody is very clear that this is true. That is the significance of stratospheric ozone. The boundary was first to cross, this is true, has not shown any signs of recovery, this is not true. Like if you read Montreal Protocol, you immediately remember that ozone layer as of now is recovering. So I eliminate first. I know that answer is either 2 and 3 or 3 and 4. ठीक है, so 3 is correct. ठीक है, so I do not have to worry about third option here. इसीलिए मैंने option भी इस तरीके से arrange किया हुआ था, that you can at least try to get to the right answer. So third is correct. Atmospheric aerosol loading, concentration of fine particles in the atmosphere, that influences climate and human health. The boundary has not been crossed. In India, it has been crossed many, many times. But overall, if we look at the planet, the boundary has not been crossed. So this is a good news. This is one of the planetary boundary which has not been crossed. But now I have to worry about second and fourth. Second is saying that disrupting climate change, that is the significance, disrupting earth energy balance primarily through greenhouse gas emission. Yes, the boundary has not been crossed, not at all. This boundary has been crossed. So ये जो अभी हमारा जैसे for example जब हम बात करते हैं IPCC framework की, that ideally हमारा maximum temperature rise should be 1.5 and at the worst case scenario it should be 2 degrees Celsius. We already know that the current level of emission will lead to more than 3 and even 4 degrees Celsius, maybe 4 degrees Celsius temperature increase. The average increase will be that much. So this boundary has been breached. So this is not correct. Biogeochemical flows, disruption of nutrient cycle, which regulates soil fertility, health of water ecosystem, that makes a lot of sense. We are talking about nitrogen and phosphorus cycle mostly. The boundary has been crossed, yes, because of excessive use of fertilizer industry. तो ये जो पूरा का पूरा concept है, let me show you about the 9 planetary boundaries. There is a think tank called Stockholm Resilience Center under Stockholm University. They coined this concept and this has become very popular. And the boundaries are climate change, biosphere integrity, land use, fresh water, nutrient, that biogeochemical flow, ocean acidification, atmospheric aerosol loading, stratospheric ozone depletion, and pollution, novel entities like plastic and pesticide, all of that, which nature did not have, but we are making this synthetically. And जो latest report है, as per that report, ocean acidification is the 7th transgressed planetary boundary. So the only 2 which has not been transgressed, that is aerosol injection and stratospheric ozone. Rest everything that has been transgressed. So आप ये कर सकते हो, आप just spend some 3-4 minutes on this website and read about all of them one by one. जैसे you can read about, let's say, biogeochemical flow. इसका current status क्या है? The boundary has been crossed for both variables. So spend some 5 minutes and just know about the concept of planetary boundary. The most probable question I expect from this, that they will simply ask the definition of planetary boundary. And even that will be a good question. Sorry? एक तो अभी यहाँ पे है atmospheric aerosol loading and second is ozone depletion. Ozone depletion as of now has, like it has recovered. So because of that, it is within the limit. It was crossed, but it has recovered. Yeah. This is easy question. Many times UPSC has asked this in prelims or mains. India is world's largest extractor of groundwater, accounting for 25%. Yes, that is true. Atal Bhujal Yojana is a central sector scheme targeting water stressed areas, incentivizing Gram Panchayat. Second part is fine. इसमें कोई issue नहीं है. The only thing which you have to worry about is that is it a central sector scheme? The answer is yes. It is a central sector scheme. It is not a centrally sponsored scheme. It is World Bank supported central sector scheme. So World Bank is giving like some 50% of the money. Is it applicable across India? Atal Bhujal Yojana? Water stressed states. 7 states have been identified, and within those 7 states there are certain districts which are particularly quite stressed, and वहाँ पे ये implement हो रहा है. And third जो है, this is true, जो Central Groundwater Authority है, this is a statutory body under Environment Protection Act, and yes, it regulates groundwater extraction. All 3 are correct here. Answer will be C. Maximum use agriculture. Yeah. 90%, not even 90% use is in एग्रीकल्चर. इस ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट थीम है. प्लीज प्रिपेयर दिस फॉर प्रीलिम्स, फॉर मेंस. दिस इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थीम. इंडियाज कार्बन क्रेडिट ट्रेडिंग स्कीम. एंड ये इस पे फैक्चुअल क्वेश्चन आ सकता है आराम से. सो फर्स्ट इज दैट इट वाज एस्टैब्लिश्ड अंडर एनर्जी कंजर्वेशन एक्ट. इज दिस ट्रू? Yes, it is true. This is established under Energy Conservation Amendment Act, which empowered central government to specify a carbon credit trading scheme. So first, that is true. Second, Bureau of Energy Efficiency under Ministry of Power is administrator. Central Regulatory Electricity Regulatory Commission is the regulator. Both are true. Both are true. Both are true. जो administration है, that will come under Bureau of Energy Efficiency. जो regulator है, trading जैसे SEBI जैसे regulator है, stock market का, RBI regulator है, banks का, तो वैसे ही जो ट्रेडिंग का यहाँ पे रेगुलेटर होगा दैट विल बी सेंट्रल इलेक्ट्रिसिटी रेगुलेटरी कमीशन. बट दिस स्कीम विल बी एडमिनिस्टर्ड बाय ब्यूरो ऑफ एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी. One of the reason why BE is playing a very important role, so let me add one more fact here which you should know. There is a very important scheme called PAT scheme. Perform, Achieve and Trade. This PAT scheme is applicable to certain industries which consume lot of power. So PAT scheme का focus है energy efficiency पे. That every company working in those sectors they have been given a particular target. कि आपको same काम जो भी आपका economic activity है, you do that, but you do that with more energy efficiency. And for that you will get a certificate, and that certificate is tradable to those who have not been able to fulfill their obligation. So as of now, जो initial step होगा कार्बन क्रेडिट ट्रेडिंग स्कीम का, वो होगा दैट पैट इज बीइंग इंटीग्रेटेड इनटू इट. जो भी पैट के जो भी इंडस्ट्रीज हैं एक्सेप्ट थर्मल पावर प्लांट, रेस्ट ऑफ द इंडस्ट्रीज आर बीइंग इंटीग्रेटेड अंडर कार्बन क्रेडिट ट्रेडिंग स्कीम. तो ये जो है दैट इट इज अ वॉलंटरी स्कीम ओपन टू ऑल, दिस इज नॉट करेक्ट. इट इज वॉलंटरी फॉर मेनी सेक्टर्स, बट फॉर स्पेसिफिक सेक्टर इट इज मैंडेटरी. तो आप वो भी जाके देख लेना कि कौन से सेक्टर्स है जहां पे जो स्कीम है वो मैंडेटरी है. सो अपार्ट फ्रॉम वट एवर आई हैव मेंशन्ड हियर, टू मोर फैक्ट्स डेफिनेटली रिमेंबर. फर्स्ट, दैट हाउ इट इज बीइंग इंटीग्रेटेड विथ पैट स्कीम, एंड सेकेंड, फॉर विच सेक्टर दिस स्कीम एज ऑफ नाउ इज मैंडेटरी एंड वेयर इट इज वॉलंटरी. ओके, सो फर्स्ट इज ट्रू, सेकेंड इज ट्रू, थर्ड इज नॉट ट्रू. आंसर हियर इज 1 and 2 ओनली. ठीक है, दोनों मैकेनिज्म है, दोनों मैकेनिज्म है. ग्रीन क्रेडिट प्रोग्राम, another very important topic. The green credit program was notified under Forest Conservation Act, Environment Protection Act. So ये इसको लेके बहुत सारा डिबेट था that गवर्नमेंट के पास पावर है भी क्या अंडर Environment Protection Act to have some such type of scheme. So lot of people, lot of jurists were of the opinion that under Environment Protection Act, government cannot do this. But nonetheless, Green Credit Scheme has a statutory status under Environment Protection Act. So first is not correct. Green credits are issued only for tree plantation and water conservation activities. Not at all. Can you give me few more examples where green credits can be given apart from these two? Mangrove restoration, air pollution reduction, water management, eco-mark scheme, sustainable use of materials. So there are many criterias, different type of credits, but for multiple type of activities, green credits can be given. And these credits are tradable. You can sell it to those entities जिन पे obligation है to fulfill some sort of environmental responsibility. तो जो second है वो बिल्कुल ही सही नहीं है. जो third है that green credits issued under this scheme are fungible with carbon credit certificate issued under carbon credit trading scheme. Is this true? Not at all. Green credit is not at all fungible with carbon credit. This will be two separate mechanism, two separate administration, सब कुछ अलग होगा. So green credit का जो scope है बड़ा है. Green credit is not only about, let's say, carbon capture and storage and offsetting carbon dioxide emission. Green capture is about water pollution management, air pollution management, mangrove restoration. So it eco-mark scheme, that is also part of green credit program. So answer here is none of the above. तीनों ही सही नहीं है. Answer is D here. This is easy. मिष्टी scheme, क्या होगा आंसर? अगर ये मनरेगा है तब भी सही करके आना. So ये मनरेगा का नया नाम है. I hope everybody knows this now. So this is new, so that is why I have written VVG Ramji. But if you go and read about that scheme on PIB, you will find Manrega, right? So first is true, it aims to facilitate mangrove plantation along India's coastline through convergence of funds from VVG Ramji and Kampa. Yeah, that is true. It aims to cover all coastal states and UTs with implementation through respective state forest department under guidance of MOEF. So makes sense. Both 1 and 2 are correct here. जहाँ पे भी है ऑल कोस्टल स्टेट को यहाँ पे लिटरली नहीं लेना है कि हम जबरदस्ती कर रहे हैं. जहाँ पे भी मैंग्रोव थोड़ा सा भी है, मिस्टी वी आर गोइंग टू इम्प्लीमेंट दैट. आई विल नॉट पुट सच टाइप ऑफ ट्रैप. इट यूपीएससी कर सकती है. क्या होगा आंसर यहाँ पे? Blue flag program is internationally recognized eco level for beaches, marinas, sustainable boating tourism operator. Yes, that is the definition. Second, International Maritime Organization, UNEP, not at all. Which organization is there? There is some NGO, some Europe-based, kuch to ek organization hai, some education, something. I don't remember the name. But it is not IMO and UNEP. Please, koi batayega naam iska kya hai? Sorry? FEE, फाउंडेशन फॉर इन्वायरमेंटल एजुकेशन, ऐसा कुछ है क्या? ऐसा कुछ है, हाँ, तो ऐसा ही होना चाहिए. सो एनीवे, सेकंड इज नॉट करेक्ट एंड थर्ड ऑफ कोर्स इज नॉट करेक्ट. ये तो बहुत ही वियर्ड सा स्टेटमेंट है दैट सारे के सारे वेस्टर्न कोस्ट लाइन पे हैं. सो आई कैन शो यू द मैप इन फैक्ट. So you can clearly see that we do have Andhra Pradesh and Odisha, Golden Beach of Odisha, Beach of Andhra Pradesh. So yeah, ये जो है third statement, that is not at all correct. So answer here is only 1. हाँ, अभी तक तो नहीं है. क्या पता भाई. anyways, right. Next 10 questions, I will give you 12 minutes. Next 10 questions, I will give you 12 minutes. Okay, we can discuss the questions. This is a simple question. The EIA notification is issued under Public Liability Insurance Act, not at all. I have mentioned this in the previous session. Many rules, EIA notification, all of that is under Environment Protection Act, 1986. What about second statement? Which project does not require public hearing? B2 project. So if you look at EIA in detail, EIA notification of 2006, you'll find that projects are first divided into two main categories, A and B. So project A जो है that occurs at central level, वो union government उसका EIA करेगी. Project B is further divided into two. So that happens at state level, but it is divided into further B1 and B2. So B1 state government does that. जो B2 है वो small projects हैं. And जो small projects हैं उनके लिए EIA की public hearing की ज़रूरत नहीं है, final EIA report की ज़रूरत नहीं है. तो ये जो statement है that it is public consultation is mandatory for all types of project, that is not correct. But for projects, and so project B2, and then there are projects which are bearing on national security, military installation, national security, they also do not require public hearing. Apart from that, जितने भी projects हैं उनमें EIA report finalize करने से पहले, जो final decision से पहले, कम से कम एक proper public hearing consultation mandatory है. So ये भी पता होना चाहिए that wherever for B2 it is not required, for national security defense installation projects it is not required, but for other type of projects, public hearing, at least one proper public hearing, public consultation, that is mandatory. So यहाँ पे जो answer है neither one nor two है. D is the correct answer. This is an easy question. Yeah, in most of the cases. Yeah. This is about environmental jurisprudence. क्या होगा आंसर यहाँ पे? Both 1 and 2. तो ये जो पहला जो है, this comes from British court. बहुत पुराना केस है 19th century का, some Ryland Fletcher case, which established doctrine of strict liability, that liability cannot be avoided through established defenses, except there are few exceptions. जैसे मान लो some accident happened in some industry, some people are victim of this, and only in very specific cases where it can be considered that this accident was act of God, some disaster happened, you did everything possible in your hand to ensure that accidents do not happen. But even it did happen because of act of God, the consent knew about everything and even then participated. So plaintiff knew about everything, participated. Or somebody act of a third party. In such cases, exception can be given. Apart from that, exceptions cannot be given. So this has been a guiding principle, not just in Britain, but all across the world, about compensating victims to industrial disasters. This is a doctrine of absolute liability है, Supreme Court of India का principle है. Do you remember which case? Which one? MC मेहता बहुत सारे हैं. Tell me the main issue जिस पे केस था. बाद, वो भोपाल गैस के बाद ओलियम गैस लीक हुआ था दिल्ली में. So 1987, 1988. So MC मेहता वर्सेस यूनियन ऑफ इंडिया. बट बहुत सारे केस हैं, कम से कम 3 केस आपको मिल जाएगा MC मेहता वर्सेस यूनियन ऑफ इंडिया. बट इस पे जो ओलियम गैस लीक केस है, in that case, because Bhopal gas tragedy already had happened in 1984, and then 3 years later you have oleum gas leak in Delhi. So in that case, Supreme Court of India established this, that agar hazardous industry hai, if the industry is hazardous, manages dangerous chemical, then there is no scope of any defense. You have to follow doctrine of absolute liability. If there are victims, they have to be compensated, irrespective of if it is an act of God, the consent was taken, or it is an act of third party. So ये जो doctrine of absolute liability है, this is a definition propounded by Supreme Court of India in MC Mehta versus Union of India, and it is specifically that oleum gas leak case. So this is a very famous case we should know about. ये easy है again. Commission for Air Quality Management in National Capital Region and adjoining areas. It has a statutory status under this law. This is true. This was a body created under this law. Second, नाम में दे रखा है adjoining areas, so that cannot be true, right? So second is not at all true, of course. And third is true, that जो graded response action plan है, that as pollution level increases, our intervention also becomes more and more tougher. So first and third are true. Answer here is C. 14th, ये गलत है. Kampa is chaired by Prime Minister. No, it is chaired by Environment Minister. So जो Kampa Advisory Council है, that is chaired by Environment Minister. So third is not correct, but first and second is correct. Provides for the establishment of national and state level CAF to receive fund. Yeah, that is true. Project proponents must pay net present value of forest land in addition to providing an equivalent area of non-forest land for compensatory afforestation. अगर ये नहीं मिलता है, मान लो non-forest land नहीं मिलता है, then double degraded forest land आपको identify करना पड़ेगा. So that is the exact mechanism of working of Kampa. And the advisory council is chaired by Environment Minister. Answer here is only 2. Such type of actual question will be there where you are confident about 2, but you are stuck into that 50-50. So ये बिल्कुल उस time पे आपको decide करना है कि should we attempt it or should we not do that. So anyways, हाँ ये important है. This is an important fact that अगर मान लो statement में ये हो that for the first time the concept of compensatory afforestation occurred in which of the law, then answer will be Forest Conservation Act 1980. It is not this act, Compensatory Afforestation Fund Act 2016. So the first time the concept of compensatory afforestation occurred in Forest Conservation Act 1980. That's a very important fact. This question, क्या आंसर यहाँ पे? ये पिछले साल का PYQ है. यूपीएससी दोबारा तो नहीं पूछेगी, बट ये पिछले साल का PYQ है. Even though we do have National Mission on Climate Change and Health, India specifically refused to sign this. अरे यूपीएससी ने पूछा था 2025 के प्रीलिम्स में भी. The reason why India refused to sign this because there was a lot of demand in this declaration that hospital में जो cooling requirement है, उसका जो greenhouse gas emission है, उसको आप immediately कम करो. And our main point was that cooling is important to store medicines, vaccines, lot of things. So we did not become party to it. So anyways, this is not correct. India did not become the signatory of that declaration on climate change and health. However, first is true. As of now, this is the 9th and the latest mission under National Action Plan on Climate Change. And second is also true. Answer here is A, 1 and 2 only. This specifically India refused to sign at COP28. This is easy. क्या होगा आंसर यहाँ पे? All of the above. ऐसे क्वेश्चन में ज़्यादा नहीं सोचना होता. यहाँ पे कुछ भी गलत नहीं है. To detect, decouple natural anthropogenic induced signal of global environmental changes, yes. To study traditional knowledge system for community participation in adaptation mitigation, yes. To design appropriate strategies for growth in economy of mountain regions, lowland system dependent upon mountain resources, answer is yes. 1, 2 and 3. This is also under, by the way, National Action Plan on Climate Change. This is one of the missions. This comes under Ministry of Science and Technology. This question, who knew this? Answer is A. So across, you find that all across the world, most of the glaciers, they are retreating as a result of global warming, climate change. But in Karakoram, we find that somehow they are still holding their fort and they are not melting to the same rate compared to rest of the glaciers of the world. This is called Karakoram anomaly. That Karakoram glaciers are not following that global trend of glacial retreat. There is a, now we have more confirmation that why it is happening. Does anyone know the answer? Like what is considered the most possible reason that why Karakoram anomaly is happening? तो high altitude तो हिमालय में पूरी जगह है. Rainfall when? So that is good. Rainfall in winters. तो जो winter disturbances हैं, revival of winter disturbances, जो winter rainfall है, that is considered the main possible reason. Again, still is not very clear, but it is considered the main possible reason that Karakoram anomaly जो है, this phenomena is happening. Answer here is A. In general, remember Himalayan glaciers are showing that similar trend from glaciers of the world. Glacial retreat is happening. Himalaya is called third pole, very important part of cryosphere. And glacial retreat in Himalaya is not good for so many different reasons. One of that will be how water security will be affected in India. Okay, 18th. I could have made it a difficult question, but I, so, नहीं, ये easy है, ये easy है. बिकॉज अगर आपको एंशियंट हिस्ट्री का थोड़ा याद है तो ये ईजी है. अर्थशास्त्र, द ओनली ऑप्शन विच यू शुड हैव वरीड अबाउट अपार्ट फ्रॉम अथर्ववेद इज महाभारत. महाभारत में प्रॉपर फॉरेस्ट पूरा पर्व है, राइट? तो महाभारत इज द ओनली ऑप्शन विच शुड हैव वरीड मेड यू लाइक वरीड अबाउट. अर्थशास्त्र, नो. अर्थशास्त्र is about again political science and economics little bit, but mostly it is about administration, politics. Mundak Upanishad is about spirituality, about finding Brahma and all of that. So yeah, but that does not mean that Upanishads do not talk about significance of nature and significance of planet Earth. But Atharva Ved, that is the correct answer. So if you go and look at the prospectus of, let me show you, sorry. Yeah. This is the prospectus brochure of Mission Life at the Niti Aayog website, and you'll find this quote from Atharva Ved. ये एलिमिनेट कर सकते हैं. द पॉइंट ये, और ऐसे को अगर नहीं पता तो मत नहीं करना अटेम्प्ट. If we do not know this exactly, then we do not attempt this, right? But this was in news. Mission Life, the main purpose here is to know about Mission Life in detail. By the way, I was actually quite proud of this question when I made this. So the main purpose of this question is that Mission Life में ऐसे कुछ बहुत ज़्यादा factual चीज़ें मगअप करने के लिए है नहीं. एंड इन जनरल एज अ कीवर्ड आपको याद रखना आंसर राइटिंग में. प्रीलिम्स क्लियर करोगे, मेंस में सस्टेनेबिलिटी पे क्वेश्चन आएगा, आप एक कोई ना कोई पॉइंट थ्रो करके आना कहीं पे, एज पर आवर गोल्स इन मिशन लाइफ, ये लिख के आना है आपको, राइट? तो ये, एंड रीड सम ऑफ द ओवरऑल, गो थ्रू. दिस इज अ वेरी नाइस ब्रोश्योर बाय द वे. बहुत ज़्यादा लेंदी भी नहीं है, बुलेट पॉइंट्स हैं, सम वेरी नाइस कीवर्ड्स आर गिवन हियर. So not right now, not at such detail for prelims, but overall we should know about the history of Mission Life and the objectives, what it aims to attain. Okay, 19. Very, very important case which was in news recently. तो पहले तो ये खुद में पता होना चाहिए कि ये जो amendment है, by the way answer is D here, T.N. Godvarman versus Union of India. So first thing first, ये जो अमेंडमेंट है, यू शुड नो द अमेंडमेंट इटसेल्फ. अमेंडमेंट में बहुत सारे चेंजेस हैं, जो दो मेन चेंज था. फर्स्ट, दैट व्हाट शुड बी द करेक्ट डेफिनेशन ऑफ फॉरेस्ट, देयर वाज एन अटेम्प्ट टू मॉडिफाई दैट इन द अमेंडमेंट. एंड सेकेंड, अनदर प्रोविजन दैट इन बॉर्डर एरियाज, मान लो अगर कुछ भी मिलिट्री इंस्टॉलेशन के लिए कुछ डेवलपमेंटल प्रोजेक्ट हो, तो जो कॉम्पेंसेटरी फॉरेस्टेशन है, जो चीज़ें हैं, ऑल ऑफ दोज थिंग्स विल, जो typical EIA है, that will not be required. So both of this was challenged into Supreme Court, and Supreme Court did not agree to the first amendment, but did not say anything about the second. So Supreme Court continued with this definition of forest, which was established in this judgment. The judgment was that forest is not just something which is recorded on government document. Forest has a proper definition. And if something, a place looks like a forest, then it is a forest, irrespective of that किसी government document का part है या नहीं है. तो this was a major case. And ये पूरा का पूरा जो केस है हुआ है, देखो इसलिए था कि बहुत सारे एरियाज को स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के पास प्रेरोगेटिव है फॉरेस्ट डिक्लेयर करने का. सो बहुत सारा फॉरेस्ट लैंड है, उसको आपने नॉन फॉरेस्ट लैंड से हटा दिया. एंड चूंकि फॉरेस्ट लैंड से हटा दिया, देन लॉज आर नॉट एप्लीकेबल, तो आप डिफॉरेस्टेशन आराम से कर सकते हो. एंड देन यू हैव लॉट ऑफ प्लेसेस विच आर कॉल्ड डीम्ड फॉरेस्ट, विच इसेंशियली मीन दैट ऑन piece of paper they are not forest, but if you actually go there, then they fulfill the dictionary definition of forest, that canopy of more than 10%, an area of more than 1 hectare. So that definition they follow. So Supreme Court agreed that as long as that dictionary definition is there, then it is a forest. It does not depend upon if it is recorded as a forest or not. And the moment it is a forest, then all of the laws of forest will be applicable. And this happened in this judgment. And Supreme Court used this judgment to stay on that specific amendment of 2023, which tried to change the definition of the forest. So this is a question from, again, current affairs. Answer here is D. 20? Answer is only 3. Agroecology जो है, लेट मी शो यू फाओ का जो प्रॉपर प्रिंसिपल है एग्रो इकोलॉजी का, वो क्या है. The idea of agroecology is that how we do agriculture should align with ecological principles. As long as we are not negatively impacting the services provided by ecosystems, surrounding ecosystems, as well as land where you are doing agriculture, then it will be considered an agroecological approach. तो जो agroecological approach है बहुत ही broad term है. Scientific discipline, social movement applies ecological principle to agricultural system. Yes. Synonymous with organic farming? Not at all. Organic farming का बहुत specific definition है. Agroecological principle का जो definition है, this can vary depending upon place to place. हो सकता है कि synthetic fertilizer से अगर मान लो नुकसान नहीं हो रहा हो, even that will be applied in agroecological principle. So ये जो है, this is not correct. FAO has endorsed, yes. In fact, FAO has principles which I showed you. And India का जो zero budget natural farming है, that will be a very good example of agroecological principle. Answer here is only 3. So second जो है यहाँ पे सही नहीं है. I repeat, these are the 10 principles: diversity, synergy, recycling, human social value, responsible governance, resilience, efficiency, co-creation, sharing knowledge, culture, food tradition, circular economy. All of these are considered as the main principles of agroecology. Okay, next set of questions. Again, I will give you 10-11 minutes to solve next set of questions. क्या हुआ? Done. Okay, we can discuss the questions. Let's start with question number 21. You'll prepare this, by the way, जो question number 21 है, you'll prepare this also for your mains examination. That you look at all of the relevant SDG goals which are part of your syllabus, which is every goal, and then you'll have to know essentially some important government initiatives. Do not have to mug it up though. जैसे ये question में the only thing you had to know is that what is SDG 7 or what is SDG 13 and what is SDG 14, and you have your answer. What will be the answer here? Which one? Second सही है. Seventh क्यों गलत है? Seventh is clean energy. So ये कौन सा fit रहता अगर यहाँ पे क्या रहता तो ठीक रहता? 6. SDG 6 अगर होता clean water sanitation तो ये हमारा fit बैठता. स्वच्छ भारत मिशन जो है वो fit बैठता. So first is not true. SDG 13 climate action, national mission for green India, makes sense. SDG 14 life below water. So that does not make sense. 15 होता तो सही रहता. Project Elephant ठीक रहता. Life on land. So the only correct option here is 2, right? So you do not have to mug it up though. I repeat this. There is a very nice Niti Aayog report on it. So नीति आयोग SDG इंडेक्स रिलीज करती है, पता है आप सबको, स्टेट का SDG इंडेक्स रिलीज करती है. तो मेन पर्पस ये था, दैट वाज द करंट अफेयर्स बिट ऑन विच दिस क्वेश्चन हैज बीन मेड. तो उसमें स्टेट का जो रैंकिंग है, एंड यहाँ पे यू विल फाइंड अबाउट, जैसे ये आप प्रीलिम्स से ज़्यादा मेंस के लिए देखना है इसको आप. तो मेंस के लिए आपके पास सारे SDGs का अपना एक लिस्ट होना एंड इंपॉर्टेंट गवर्नमेंट इनिशिएटिव होना, ये हमको पता होना चाहिए. सो शुड नो अबाउट. So there is a very nice report here. So just go and type SDG index 2023-24 and you'll find this PDF and you'll have all of this important government initiative. Please don't think of mugging it each and everything. You have to mug up the SDG goal. ये आपको याद रखना पड़ेगा. That is something which must be remembered. Okay, next question. 22. What is the correct answer? Okay, first is of course not correct. उत्तर प्रदेश कहाँ से आ गया यहाँ पे? So we can eliminate first, right? So Gujarat, which states will be there? And Delhi. Perfect. So first is not correct because of Uttar Pradesh here. Second, it aims to check the eastward march of Thar Desert associated wind erosion. That was the goal. That was the goal of this entire project. And third, yes, it is inspired by Africa's Great Green Wall, and this is also true that it runs from Sengel to Djibouti. So that is also true. So answer here is first and third are true. Answer is second and third are true. Answer is only 2. If अगर ये prelims पे नहीं है तो mains के लिए तो अच्छे से पढ़ के जाना है इसको. If this question is not asked in prelims, please prepare it well for mains examination. Question number 23. Okay. Let me give you some context of this question. That in science and tech discussion also I mentioned this, that a very important focus which already is happening right now all across the world, that if we do invest more into solar and wind energy, and then we have to do that, या तो न्यूक्लियर आप करोगे ना तो सोलर विंड करोगे. कोल, ये जो भी फॉसिल फ्यूल है, they are going to get depleted in the course of time. So in any case we have to think of alternative energy sources. So particularly solar and wind में सबसे बड़ा challenge जो है intermittency का है, that how do we store energy. So we are thinking about long duration energy storage solution, that how can we store energy, solar energy, when it is in excess amount, that we can use this in the evening and in the night. So multiple technologies have been proposed. One technology which already is the most common one, वो है pumped hydro power storage, जो कि UPSC ने पूछा था 2 साल पहले. Another technology is what is called flow batteries. So in flow batteries, जो flow batteries का जो सबसे important significance है वो ये है. Then in flow battery, the power capacity and the energy capacity are independently scalable. That flow battery का अगर आप पूरा design देखोगे, you'll have 2 separate electrolyte tanks. You increase the volume of the tank, you increase the energy stored. And जो cell stack है वो उससे separate है. You increase the number of cell stacks, you increase energy per second. Generally ये lithium ion battery में जैसे नहीं होगा. Lithium ion battery में आप ज़्यादा energy store करोगे तो उतना ही फिर आपको energy delivery भी उतना ही बढ़ जाएगा. So how much energy you store will decide how much energy per second you are going to get when you apply that into the circuit. In flow battery, you do not have to worry about that problem. In flow battery, these two things can be scaled independently. So yeah, that second is true. Energy is stored in 2 separate tanks of vanadium electrolyte solution in different oxidants. Okay, so flow battery के बहुत और भी example है. The most famous example of flow battery is this one. Vanadium. Vanadium is an element. It has atomic number 23. Vanadium exists into 4 different oxidation states, and all of them are stable. So why vanadium flow battery is the most famous example of flow battery? That ये जो 2 electrolyte tanks हैं उसमें आप एक जगह vanadium 2+ है, दूसरी जगह vanadium 5+ है. So even if let's say some cross contamination happens, doesn't matter, it still is vanadium. I do not have to worry about anything, that fundamentally some chemical reaction has occurred and I have to discard everything. ये problem ही नहीं है. And because of that, this is true. Third is true, that they have a long life cycle because the vanadium electrolyte is not consumed in the chemical reaction. Consumed in the sense, even if the oxidation state is changing, the total amount of vanadium जो है आपका वो constant है. So that is the meaning of the word that vanadium is not being consumed here. So it will have a very long life cycle. Theoretically, it can be unlimited life cycle. Of course, that will not happen. But practically, जो vanadium flow batteries हैं वो 15-20 साल आपके आराम से चलेंगे. We do not have to worry about cross contamination. Answer is all of the above. C is the correct answer here. ठीक है? Yeah. बिल्कुल. हाँ ठीक है. तो ऑक्सीडेशन स्टेट्स का मतलब रिडक्शन स्टेट करके कोई टर्म नहीं होता है. ऑक्सीडेशन स्टेट व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट 2, सो ऑक्सीडेशन का मतलब है समथिंग व्हेन इट लूजेस इलेक्ट्रॉन इज ऑक्सीडाइजिंग, समथिंग व्हिच इज गेनिंग इलेक्ट्रॉन इज एसेंशियली रिड्यूसिंग. सो इफ समथिंग हैज, जैसे मान लो V2+ है, जो V2+ है, इवन इफ इट लूजेस 1, 2 और 3 मोर इलेक्ट्रॉन, ये फिर भी स्टेबल रहेगा. So V2+ is oxidizing. That V5+ जो है, that is going to reduce as it gains electron. So this is 2 separate oxidation state. V2+ is a separate oxidation state. V5+ is a separate oxidation state. ठीक है? So this is fine. There is no word as such reduction state. Right? So you are right that oxidation reduction happen together. But if something is oxidizing, then something else is reducing. And something is oxidizing, something else is reducing, because they are at 2 different oxidation states. One has the capability to lose electron, another has the capability to gain electron. Okay, that depends upon if I'm only using V2+ and V3+, then V3+ can accept from V2+. V2+ will lose, V3+ will accept. But if it is V3+, V5+, then that V3+ is going to lose and V5+ is going to accept. Generally जो हमारा होगा V2+ and V5+ होगा. One will be V2+, another will be V5+. And these are 2 separate oxidation states. ठीक है? So answer here is all of the above. C is the Correct answer. क्या होगा आंसर? Okay. First, it generates electricity by exploiting temperature difference between warm surface seawater and cold deep seawater. This is true. That is the mechanism of ocean thermal energy conversion. It uses that thermal difference, that temperature difference between the surface water, which is at about 24, 25, and deep water, which is about 4, 5 degree Celsius. It can use seawater itself as the working fluid at low pressure to drive a turbine, producing desalinated water as a co-product. ये सबसे remarkable OTEC तब है when I use seawater as the working fluid. I can use ammonia also. That will be an open cycle. This will be a closed cycle. So OTEC can be both open cycle and closed cycle. If I'm using ammonia, it is an open cycle. If I'm using seawater itself, then it is closed cycle. And the most amazing part of closed cycle is that it can produce both electricity and fresh water simultaneously. Let me show you. This will be the design of OTEC. 2 chambers, evaporator, condenser. I pump warm water and I maintain very low pressure here. So water can vaporize at very low pressure. And then I move my turbine, produce electricity, and that water vapor I'm condensing with help of cold water. But when evaporation happened here, salt is not going to evaporate. Only water is going to evaporate. So when I condense, I produce fresh water simultaneously. So this is the most remarkable part about OTEC. Okay. So second is true, that seawater can act as a working fluid. Ammonia can also as a working fluid. Third, it inherently generates surplus electricity during daytime only, as the ocean temperature differential increases significantly during daylight hour. What do you think? Is this right or wrong? Exactly. Water has very high specific heat capacity. So because of this, even if during daytime, the surface will be little bit warmer, हमारा जो पूरा ये design है, this design is about temperature difference. तो this statement अगर ये सही हो तो हम ये बोल रहे हैं कि जो टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस दिन में 20 डिग्री सेल्सियस का है सरफेस पे एंड फ्यू 100 मीटर पे, वो नहीं है 20 डिग्री सेल्सियस, वो मान लो 2 डिग्री सेल्सियस है. ऑफ कोर्स दैट स्टिल इज अबाउट 19-20 डिग्री सेल्सियस. थर्ड इज नॉट करेक्ट. ठीक है. एंड फोर्थ इज द रीजन व्हाई दिस क्वेश्चन हैज बीन आस्क्ड. राइट. सो लक्षद्वीप एट कवरत्ती, जो नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ ओशन टेक्नोलॉजी है, दे हैव सेट अप दिस फर्स्ट OTEC power plant in India. Answer here is 1, 2 and 4. Third is not correct. It is. It is suitable for base load capacity because it can produce electricity 24/7. जो OTEC है, unlike solar wind energy, which cannot produce energy 24/7, OTEC can produce energy 24/7. So yes, it is also suitable for base load capacity. That is true. ओके, शुरुआत के लिए हमको बाहर से एनर्जी देना पड़ेगा. पंप करने के लिए, शुरू में पंप करने के लिए इन द इवेपोरेटर चेंबर एंड द कंडेंसर चेंबर हमको इनिशिएट करना पड़ेगा. बट वंस इट स्टार्ट्स प्रोड्यूसिंग एनर्जी, जो पंपिंग रिक्वायरमेंट, जो पानी, जैसे हमारे पास 2 चेंबर थे, उसमें पंप भी तो करना था ना पानी, दैट एनर्जी इनिशिएट करने के लिए आई हैव टू प्रोवाइड एनर्जी. बट आफ्टर दैट इट कैन सेल्फ सस्टेन इटसेल्फ. राइट. सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज जो है वहां पे इफिशियंसी का है फर्स्ट. सेकेंड चैलेंज ये है कि बड़े स्केल पे जब हम इसको स्केल अप करेंगे, हाउ गुड दिस इज गोइंग टू बी. एंड थर्ड इसकी जो सॉल्ट वगैरह है उसको हम कहाँ पे रिजेक्ट करेंगे. सो देयर आर चैलेंजेस, बट इफ इट डज बिकम सक्सेसफुल, इफ वी फिगर आउट द इंजीनियरिंग पार्ट ऑफ दिस, इट विल बी अ रिमार्केबल सोर्स ऑफ एनर्जी. नहीं, हम सेम पानी को यूज कर रहे हैं. वी आर यूजिंग द सेम वाटर इसेंशियली. Okay, you might be onto something. Did I say the opposite? If I use ammonia, then it is a closed cycle. If I use ocean water, it is a open cycle. Yeah, you are right. You are right about this. So the main point is that it can be both open and closed cycle. If I use, you are right. Yeah. So if I use the same ammonia, if I'm using ammonia, I will be using the same ammonia. That will be a closed cycle while producing energy. Here, every time I will be using different fresh water. So because whatever water I am using to produce electricity, that water I am also removing as fresh water. So I'm using new water. Yeah, you are right. The main point is that OTC can be both open system as well as closed system. Okay. This question, first is true, second is true, third is not at all true. In fact, the only place where we are even exploring and doing something here is at Puga Valley in Ladakh, right? So, but ये पता होना चाहिए हमको that we do have 7 geological provinces. I should have a map somewhere here. Yeah. These are the map of 7 geological provinces. So Puga Valley in Ladakh, Manikarani, Himachal Pradesh, then Sohna region in Delhi, Haryana, Cambay, Western Coast, Sonata, that's Son Narmada, Tapi, which is mentioned. So all of these are part of Godavari Basin. All of these are part of what is called geothermal provinces. So there are 7 geothermal provinces in India. And जो Puga Valley है, this is considered one of the best place, and where some construction, some work already is happening. But third जो है बिल्कुल ही गलत है. बहुत ही nascent stage में geothermal energy का जो overall contribution है in the India's energy basket वो बहुत ही कम है as of now. Negligible है. So third is not at all true, first is true, second is true, answer here is B, only 2. 26. Others? Answer is A. So answer is A. This is completely factual. देखो carbon stock बहुत सारी चीजों पे depend करेगा. I will tell you why. Think about it. कार्बन स्टॉक खाली इस बात पे नहीं डिपेंड करेगा कि आपका टोटल फॉरेस्ट कवर क्या है, आपका फॉरेस्ट का क्वालिटी क्या है. इज इट वेरी डेंस फॉरेस्ट? बिकॉज वेरी डेंस फॉरेस्ट में जो अमाउंट ऑफ कार्बन है वो बहुत ज्यादा होगा. रिमेंबर, इन वेरी डेंस फॉरेस्ट कार्बन इज नॉट जस्ट स्टोर्ड in the biomass, it is also stored a lot into that soil. So, right, so this is where Arunachal Pradesh has the advantage over others. So Arunachal, so in fact let me show you the PDF from which this question has been made. This PDF should be here somewhere. Yeah, this is Indian Forest Survey Report 2023, 2 साल पे रिलीज होता है. And you can find this. Arunachal Pradesh has the maximum, followed by Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Maharashtra. So these are the 4 states with maximum carbon stock in this exact decreasing order. So answer here is A. Not an easy question. This is not at all an easy question, because ये बहुत ही specific fact है जो अगर आपको नहीं पता है तो पक्के से गलत करोगे, because आप कुछ और लॉजिक लगाओगे, कुछ और अपना नॉलेज यूज करोगे टू आंसर दिस क्वेश्चन. 27. बिल्कुल ही सही, ऑल 4 इज ऑल करेक्ट. कौन सा आपको लगा गलत है? All 4 are correct. All 4 are correct. Okay, so let me tell you about each and everything. Land degradation neutrality, as the name suggests, we are trying to neutralize degradation of land. So first is true, by the way, this is enshrined in United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification. This was one of the convention along with other 2, that UNFCCC and UNCBD, as part of Rio Earth Summit. We know this. So third one was UNCCD. India is a signatory. Second, जो definition है, proper definition है, amount and quality of land resources necessary to support ecosystem function and services remain stable or increases, should not decrease. So if land is degrading, then that is not land degradation neutrality. As long as you are maintaining the quality of land or you are improving upon it, we will say that you maintain land degradation neutrality. Third, India has voluntarily committed to Bond Challenge. Bond Challenge is not a legally binding challenge. This is a challenge started by IUCN. Remember this. This is in itself a important fact. Bond Challenge is a challenge by IUCN and government of Germany. And India is one of the participants of this challenge with this goal of restoring degraded land. So third is also true. There are 3 indicators to measure land degradation neutrality. First is land cover, second is land productivity, and third is soil organic carbon. So even fourth is also true. Answer here is D, all 4. I should have some. तो 3 पैरामीटर हम यूज करते हैं. लैंड यूज चेंज, सो लैंड कवर चेंज क्या हो रहा है. सो हम कैसे देखेंगे इसको. राइट नाउ वी हैव सम डेटा अबाउट दैट फॉर व्हाट पर्पस or what type of ecosystems are found in land, and how then this changes, let's say 5 years later. How much organic matter is stored in this soil, that will be another very important parameter, and how productive this land is, which essentially means that how much new biomass is being produced on this particular patch of land. So these are the 3 criteria which are used to measure land degradation neutrality, and yes, it is part of UNCCD. Okay, 28. रिसेंट करंट अफेयर्स नहीं है. इनफैक्ट पता नहीं यूपीएससी पूछेगी भी कि नहीं, बिकॉज गवर्नमेंट ने सब कुछ बैन करवा दिया था. जो भी पिक्चर्स इसरो ने रिलीज किए थे जोशीमठ सब्सिडेंस का, सारे पिक्चर्स फिर गवर्नमेंट ने हटवा दिया था. आंसर इज ए. अगर आप पढ़ोगे आंसर विल बी ए. जोशीमठ, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट religious place, renewed attention to broader pattern of ecologically sensitive development, right? So the problem was land subsidence, right? A lot of cracks are happening in multiple houses at Joshimath. Second is true, there are systemic risk posed by large scale road hydropower in seismically active region. Third is also true, it is one of the major tectonic discontinuities of Himalayas, right? So a lot of people actually think that it is a crisis waiting to happen unless we make certain changes in what type of developmental activity should be allowed and what should not be allowed. So both 2 and 3 are correct, and both of them explain statement 1 here. What is the purpose of this question? Nicobar development project, right? Nicobar, ये खुद में एक बहुत important fact है which you will remember. Nicobar megapod is endemic to Nicobar Island. This is true. Not even Andaman. It is found in Nicobar. So this is true. And this is also true that जो typical जो birds हैं, they often give their body heat to brood their eggs. But Nicobar megapod is very famous for making very large mound nest. I will show you the picture. So first is true. Second is also true. So this national park is located within this island. And third is also true. The Shopman people हैं, one of the most vulnerable. Hardly 400 people are left. And a particularly vulnerable tribal group, they are also part of the island. So all 3 of them have been in news because of that great Nicobar development project which is going on, right? So let me show you. नहीं, status critically endangered नहीं है. Nicobar megapod का status, if I am not mistaken, right now is vulnerable. एक बार confirm कर लेना please. But I think it is vulnerable. Nicobar megapod. This will be what that mound will look like. Rather than, so they will use that mound to provide that thermal insulation to brood their eggs, rather than providing this with body heat, which most of the birds do. The bird in itself looks like this. Search कर ही लेते हैं. Vulnerable है? ठीक है, vulnerable. Answer is 1, 2 and 3. All 3 are correct here. All 3 are factual information. But all 3 are important facts. They have been in news recently a lot. हाँ, देख सकते हैं हम. बाकी ट्राइब्स भी जो अफेक्टेड हैं वो भी अंडमान निकोबार के सो अंडमान निकोबार के जो ट्राइब्स हैं वो तो देख ही लेना चाहिए हमको, पता होना चाहिए हमको. क्या होगा आंसर यहाँ पे? Okay, you are quite optimistic about India's position. So anyways, first is true, by the way. United Nations Environment Assembly is this largest governance body on global environmental issues. So this is true. Second, the negotiation covers the full life cycle of plastic from production to waste management. That makes a lot of sense. Why do you think that this was wrong? कौन सा पार्ट हम नहीं करेंगे? अगर हम बात कर रहे हैं प्लास्टिक को मैनेज करने की, तो हम प्लास्टिक के सारे पार्ट की बात करेंगे ना, किसी एक पार्ट को हम छोड़ क्यों देंगे? सो देयर इज लाइक, जब हम स्टेटमेंट को एनालाइज करते हैं ना कि सही है गलत है, तो वी ऑलवेज चेक दैट अगर ये सही नहीं है तो गलत फिर क्या है. जैसे मान लो कि मैं इसको ऐसे देखूंगा दैट दिस स्टेटमेंट इज नॉट करेक्ट, देन व्हाट इज करेक्ट? The negotiation does not cover the full life cycle. They only cover some part of the plastic life cycle. Now that does not make sense. So the moment I think it like this, you will realize, जब भी आप कभी भी पॉजिटिव निगेटिव सब जब एनालाइज करना हो तो आप ऑपोजिट एक बार देख लेना। पहले तो आप रिकॉग्नाइज करोगे कि अगर मान लो एक गलत है तो कौन सा पार्ट गलत है फर्स्ट। So it includes full life cycle का मतलब है कि प्लास्टिक प्रोडक्शन से लेके फाइनल डिस्पोजल तक। वी कॉल दिस सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी, ठीक है। थर्ड जो है वो गलत है, एंड दिस इज आयरॉनिकल बिकॉज इंडिया वॉज वन ऑफ द फर्स्ट कंट्री to talk about banning plastic in the world. But when the negotiation started as of now, so countries are divided into two groups right now. One of that group is called high ambition coalition target, that includes mostly Western European countries. And then second group is like-minded countries. And the like-minded countries, and that includes India. And like-minded countries are essentially looking for much more relaxation compared to that high ambition coalition negotiation. So third is not true. अच्छा सॉरी, ऑप्शन ही नहीं है यहाँ पे, तो ये 1 and 2 ओनली आंसर है फिर, सॉरी ये 2 बार 1 and 3, सो आंसर इज 1 and 2 ओनली। अच्छा फिर तो चलो कोई बात नहीं, आपकी बात हो राइट। सो यहाँ पे 1 and 2 ओनली होगा, फर्स्ट इज 1 and 2 ओनली, दैट इज द करेक्ट, दिस इज अ मिस्टेक। सो 1 and 2 ओनली इज द करेक्ट आंसर हियर, लेट मी राइट इट डाउन। हाँ लेटेस्ट जो डिस्कशन था सीओल में लाइन से डिस्कशन हुआ है, this is 1 and 2 only, and that will be correct. Last few questions, I will give you 8 minutes, and last question is of science and tech. I thought that this is an important theme which like last time हमने discuss नहीं किया था। Okay, बढ़िया क्वेश्चन है आपका। हमने 120 माइक्रोन से बैन कर दिया है। जो डिमांड है इस ग्रुप का, हाई एम्बिशन कोलिशन नेगोशिएशन ग्रुप का, उनका जो डिमांड है दैट इन ईच एंड एवरी स्टेप वी हैव टू फेज आउट ग्रेजुअली विथ अ स्पेसिफिक टाइमलाइन। इसको लेके वी आर नॉट एग्रीइंग टू इट। ये जब 2019 में बैन किया था ना, मोदी जी एंथो में आ गए थे इस सिंगल प्लास्टिक को हम बैन करेंगे, बट फिर बाद में रियलाइज हुआ कि नहीं ये तो गड़बड़ है। lot of protest can happen, lot of economic activity depends upon plastic. There is a reason why plastic is so prominent. It is very cheap to manufacture. Packaging में इतना famous use है। हमारा जो छोटा शैम्पू वगैरह होता है सब कुछ उससे पूरा इकॉनमी जो है that was such a remarkable innovation which started in India and gained lot of popularity in so many developing parts of the world, right? So but yeah, that also led much more plastic pollution. So there was a realization that ऐसे बैन कर देना चाहना। तो अगर आपको याद हो, आई डोंट थिंक आप तब उतना न्यूज़ आप देख रहे थे, 2019 में हमने अनाउंस किया था कि हम प्लास्टिक, सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक बैन करेंगे। 3 साल लग गया हमको, फाइनली हमने 2022 में अमेंड किया एंड हमने उसको बैन किया 2022 में। यहाँ पे डिमांड इज नॉट ओनली अबाउट दैट सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक, इट इज अबाउट मेनी डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ प्लास्टिक एंड देर इज अ डिमांड ऑन ग्रेजुअल फेज आउट विथ स्पेसिफिक टाइमलाइन, एंड दिस इज नॉट accepted to many developing countries including India. So as of now India is not agreeing to all of the demand of this high ambition coalition group. India is not part of this coalition, by the way. India is part of that like-minded group, second category of countries. India, China, Saudi Arabia, these nations are part of this like-minded group. Okay, I will give you last few minutes, last 8 minutes to solve remaining questions. UNEA कब बना था, by the way? United Nations Environment Assembly. When was it created? 1972 में UNEP बना था, United Nations Environment Program. UNEA was created at Rio Plus 20, 2012. So UNEA that was created at Rio Plus 20, 2012. Assembly, United Nations Environment Assembly. कौन सा? अच्छा, मुझे सॉरी, मैं थोड़ा जोक समझ नहीं पा रहा हूँ मैं. अच्छा, ओके, ठीक है, गॉट इट. या करें नेक्स्ट लास्ट सेट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस. This is easy. Eco mark scheme, 4 statement, but this is an easy question. The eco mark label is an eco label awarded to consumer products that meet specific environmental criteria in addition to quality standard. That is the definition of eco mark. It is operated jointly by Bureau of Indian Standards and CPCB. That is also true. It is a voluntary certification. Manufacturers can choose to apply for it but are not legally required to do so. That is also true. But if they do so, they have to clearly use that matka jo symbol hai along with that. So there is iska jo symbol है एक अदन pot है. So whenever you come across a product जहाँ पे अदन pot बना हुआ हो बगल में BIS standard के, so that means that that is eco mark symbol. Eco mark qualifies as one of the eligible activities to earn tradable green credits under. I just mentioned this few minutes ago. Answer is all of the above. Answer is D here. All 4 is correct. This is also easy. This is a specific fact which you must remember, not just for prelims but also for mains examination. You will remember this as a fact, that at least 5 million metric ton of green hydrogen production by year 2030 produced by electrolysis of water using electricity from renewable energy sources. That is the definition of green hydrogen. And third, green hydrogen का जो सबसे important component है वो ये है, strategic intervention for green hydrogen transition program under mission provides financial incentive to domestic electrolyzer manufacturing and green hydrogen production. So electrolyzer as well as green hydrogen production दोनों के लिए incentive mechanisms हैं under this component of the scheme. I can remember this also for mains examination, not just for prelims. Answer here is all 3. 33 क्या होगा आंसर? ऑल 3. 3 कंपोनेंट है पीएम कुसुम के, वहीं तीनों कंपोनेंट यहाँ पे दे रखा है. पीएम कुसुम स्कीम के 3 कंपोनेंट है. पहला कंपोनेंट है, इट अलाउज फार्मर टू सेट अप स्मॉल रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी पावर प्लांट्स ऑन देयर बैरन और फैलो लैंड, सेल द इलेक्ट्रिसिटी टू डिस्कॉम. दूसरा कंपोनेंट है, प्रोवाइड फाइनेंशियल असिस्टेंट इंस्टॉलिंग स्टैंड अलोन सोलर पंप्स. एंड तीसरा कंपोनेंट है, सोलराइजेस ग्रिड कनेक्टेड एग्रीकल्चरल पंप्स, इनेबल्स फार्मर्स टू सेल surplus power to the grid. ये these are the 3 components of PM Kusum. यही तीनों component यहाँ पे पूछ रखा है. Answer is all 3. 34. This will be more of a question of biotechnology, and you should have got this right. क्या होगा आंसर यहाँ पे? First and third. ये 80% ज़्यादा हो गया. अब just look at that demand. That हम ये बोल रहे हैं कि अब जो भी produce करो उसका 80% आप set aside कर दो. That does not make lot of sense. It is 20% though. It is 20%. अगर ये 20% होता तो ये सही रहता. It seeks to ensure that countries which share pathogen samples and genomic data receive equitable access to vaccines and medicines developing using those samples. That is the, so this is part of WHO pandemic treaty negotiation which is going on. A key proposal requires manufacturers to reserve at least 80% of their real-time production for WHO. No, it is 20%. 10% as lower cost, 10% as a reserve, but total 20%. तो 20% होता तो ये ठीक रहता. This is not correct right now. Third, US withdrew. This was a reason why this was in news recently, apart from the fact that the negotiations are still going on. This third is also a reason why this treaty was in news. Answer is 1 and 3 only. It is legally binding. Yeah. Pandemic treaty, one of the reason why US withdrew because they did not want to be part of it. It is a legally binding agreement whenever it does enter into force. It has not, by the way. To enter an agreement, I have mentioned this, minimum number of countries have to sign a particular agreement for the agreement to enter into force. This has not happened with WHO pandemic treaty. Satat scheme, launched by Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, makes sense. Compressed biogas is produced from organic waste such as agricultural residue, municipal solid waste, cattle dung, sewage sludge through anaerobic digestion. That also makes sense. Anaerobic digestion means decomposition in the absence of oxygen, and that is going to produce methane. Remember, compressed biogas is mostly nothing but methane. It will also produce things like hydrogen sulfide and carbon dioxide, but once you remove all of that, then mostly you have methane. And once you store that, so when I use the word CBG, तो ये जो statement है, they're chemically different. Compressed natural gas and compressed biogas, they're chemically different is not at all correct. They both are methane, and therefore CBG requires specifically modified engine, not at all. सतत पे जो हम CBG use करने का सोच रहे हैं, that CBG by composition, by percentage, is exactly same as CNG. The difference will be that CNG is a fossil fuel, CBG will be an example of biofuel. We are getting it from biogas. So third is not correct, first is true, second is true, answer here is only 2. Both are methane, just remember, both are methane. So gobar gas will be an example of CBG जैसे, ऐसे सोच सकते हो आप. GLOF. Even if you, again, not for prelims, but जैसे मान लो climate change पे अगर आपको आंसर लिखना हो, तो remember this as an example for mains examination also, not just for prelims examination. First, it occurs, water impounded by glacier or moraine damage suddenly released. Moraine is a natural dam which occurs for such type of glacial lakes. That natural dam occurs because of glacial depositional activity. Second, climate change is increasing the number and size of glacial lakes in Himalayas as glaciers retreat. That is also true. And third, GLOF disaster was caused by the outburst of South Lonak Lake, and by the way, that led to so much of flooding in Tista River. So all three are correct. Answer here is C, all three. ये important है, ये fact important है, ये कहाँ पे lake है पता होना चाहिए. So this in itself is an important fact which one should remember. Environmental DNA, it refers to genetic material collected from environmental samples such as water, soil or air. So there is a very famous branch in biotechnology which is called metagenomics. The goal of metagenomics is to essentially find sample from a sample, find DNA from a sample itself. Like you collect some soil or collect some water, right? And you look at all of the genetic material which is present there. So first is true. And second is also true that जैसे मान लो एक हमने एग्जाम्पल लिया था अफ्रीकन कैटफिश का जिसको बैन कर रखा है बहुत सारे स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स ने, तो हमने कहीं पे पानी रिवर का कलेक्ट किया एंड नाउ वी आर essentially looking that if African catfish DNA is present here or not. So second is also true, answer here is both 1 and 2. Sorry? ऐसा ज़रूरी नहीं है, it will degrade. ऐसा नहीं, it can remain for many time, but ऐसा नहीं हम बोल सकते कि it will not degrade at all. Right? Neuromorphic computing. This was a question of science and tech. The reason I have kept this question because I felt that everybody is talking about AI, and this topic was also in news, not as much as how much AI has been in news, but because of AI, this topic has been in news, and I think one should know about this. Right? So answer is 1 and 3. First is true. It is much more energy efficient. Second जो है, that it separates memory and processing unit. This is what this computer does. इस computer का जो processor है और इस computer का जो memory है वो अलग अलग है. And because of this, for every computation, electrons have to travel from that processor to that memory, and that traveling requires energy. And now imagine what we are doing right now in artificial intelligence, that we have many and many GPUs running together with separate memory and processor, and they consume huge amount of energy. And this is where human brain as a computer is very remarkable, because human brain में कोई separate component नहीं है storage का and processing का. The processing starts happening from the very first neuron a particular data is received. So this is why human brain, which is so powerful, there are like 86 billion neurons connected to human brain, and all of this computer runs by just eating 3 times food. 3 बार आपको खाना खाना, and that is more than enough. It does consume about 20% of energy. Whatever food you eat, 20% goes to your brain. But even then, the amount of energy is so less compared to what we are doing right now, let's say, in AI. So neuromorphic computing का goal यही है that let's try to create neuromorphic chips, neuromorphic processors, जहाँ पे सिमिलर टू ह्यूमन ब्रेन मेमोरी एंड प्रोसेसिंग दोनों साथ साथ हो, अलग से नहीं हो. So second is not correct, and जो third है, yeah, that is the goal of neuromorphic processing, that it aims to reduce energy consumption of AI models. Answer here is 1 and 3 only. Okay, so I had some, I think 140 questions more or less, and out of 140 questions, some themes were of course repetitive, but still you will find like more than 100 unique themes. It will take some time for me to prepare the detailed answer key. So my goal here is that apart from the answer, I also can provide some extra information in each and every topic, which can perhaps help you in that last minute revision. But it will take some time. I will get this uploaded on the YouTube video description, and I'll also like upload it on the Telegram channel. I'll upload the answer key here. And I'll also ask the team to get the answer key uploaded on the video description. And if you do have doubt anywhere, take environment seriously, but always remember that questions will be easier than what we have done in last 3 sessions, right? So you are in a much better position to attempt many questions in environment. Keep revising things, that is important. And I say this after every test discussion, and this is not an exception, that this is not at all in any way a criteria to judge that how you are going to do in examination, right? It's have you done your basics? Are you doing whatever is expected out of you? If you're doing that, go and attempt prelims paper. All the best, guys.
Every UPSC result proves one thing quietly. Success does not begin at the final stage. It begins much earlier, with the kind of foundation a student builds. The UPSC CSE 2025 result makes that visible again. 10 candidates in the top 100 prepared through the Vision IAS GS Foundation Classroom course, including AIR 5 Nishan Bhatnagar. That kind of result is not built on motivation alone. It is built on the right sequence, the right guidance, and the right correction. This is what the Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation course is designed for. Concept first classroom learning, so preparation is not scattered. Early answer writing and testing, so improvement starts on time. PT 365 and Mains 365, so current affairs become usable in the exam. And mentorship that keeps preparation aligned, focused and accountable. Because in UPSC, hard work is common. Structured preparation is what creates separation. If you are targeting UPSC 2027, start by building your base the right way. Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation course. Upcoming classroom batches at Karol Bagh, 24th March at 5 p.m, 30th March at 8 a.m, and 7th April at 11 a.m. At GTB Nagar, 17th March at 8 a.m. and 25th March at 6 p.m. Register at our website or call us on the given number.
यूपीएससी 2027 का लक्ष्य जितना बड़ा है उसे पाने की योजना भी उतनी ही स्पष्ट और संगठित होनी चाहिए। विजन आईएएस लेकर आया है क्लासरूम फाउंडेशन कोर्स 2027 के 12 से 14 महीनों का एक ऐसा सुव्यवस्थित कार्यक्रम है जहां आपकी तैयारी एक अनुशासित और वैज्ञानिक ढांचे में आगे बढ़ती है। यहाँ क्लासरूम लर्निंग के साथ साथ आपको मिलता है लाइव और रिकॉर्डेड सेशंस का विकल्प, जिसे आप अपने व्यक्तिगत ऑनलाइन पोर्टल के माध्यम से कभी भी और कहीं भी एक्सेस कर सकते हैं। तैयारी के सफर को और भी प्रभावी बनाती है हमारी व्यक्तिगत क्लासरूम मेंटरिंग। हमारे एक्सपर्ट मेंटर्स नियमित मार्गदर्शन और स्मार्ट स्टडी मैनेजमेंट के जरिए आपकी तैयारी को एक सही दिशा और गति प्रदान करते हैं। शैक्षणिक दृष्टिकोण से देखें तो यह कोर्स मुख्य परीक्षा के सामान्य अध्ययन के चारों प्रश्न पत्रों, सीसेट और निबंध का व्यापक कवरेज सुनिश्चित करता है। विषयों की समसामयिक समझ विकसित करने के लिए मासिक करंट अफेयर्स मैगजीन और रिवीजन क्लासेस के साथ साथ पीटी 365 और मेंस 365 की विशेष कक्षाएं भी इस कार्यक्रम का अनिवार्य हिस्सा हैं, ताकि स्टैटिक और करंट अफेयर्स के बीच एक सटीक संतुलन बना रहे। तैयारी की गहराई मापने के लिए निरंतर अभ्यास अनिवार्य है, इसलिए डेली असाइनमेंट और साप्ताहिक मिनी टेस्ट के साथ साथ मासिक प्रीलिम्स और मेंस टेस्ट के माध्यम से आपकी प्रगति का निरंतर आकलन किया जाता है। इस कार्यक्रम की शक्ति है हमारी प्रतिष्ठित ऑल इंडिया टेस्ट सीरीज, जिसमें प्रीलिम्स के 35, मेंस के 30, सीसेट के 25 और निबंध के 5 टेस्ट का समावेश है। साथ ही संधान पोर्टल पर 25,000 से अधिक प्रश्नों का विशाल संग्रह आपके अभ्यास और विश्लेषण को और भी सुदृढ़ बनाता है। अब समय है अपनी मेहनत को एक मजबूत, संरचित और निरंतर प्रक्रिया में ढालने का। विजन आईएएस के साथ जुड़े और यूपीएससी 2027 की अपनी सफलता की राह को एक स्पष्ट दिशा दें।
UPSC prelims is not the destination, it's the first crucial step, and clearing this step requires more than hard work. It demands the right strategy. Vision IAS All India GS Prelims Test Series 2027 with Sandhan is designed to give you that edge from the very beginning. With 35 structured tests, build your journey from fundamentals to full-length tests, ensuring clear, step-by-step progression. With Sandhan, personalized practice, you get more than 25,000 questions targeting your weak areas. Every test becomes a step toward measurable improvement. With smart analysis plus mentoring gain, get precise insights into your mistakes and refine your strategy with expert guidance. With quick revision material, QRM, focus on revising what truly matters exactly when you need it the most. Starting from 19th April, ensure you don't just attempt prelims 2027, you prepare to clear it. To register, visit our website or call us on the given numbers. All India GS Mains Test Series and Mentoring Program 2027, not just a test series, a system designed to improve how you write. For Mains 2027, what matters is not how much you know, but how effectively you present it on paper. And that's exactly what this program builds. Write regularly, get evaluated with precision, understand your mistakes, improve with clear mentorship. So with every test, your answers become more structured, more relevant, more impactful. This is where preparation turns into performance. Start early, improve consistently. Be ready for Mains 2027. To know more, visit our website or call us on the given numbers. Are you ready to face prelims head-on? Because prelims is not just about knowledge, it's about performance under pressure. That's where Abhyas, the All India Prelims, GS plus CSAT mock test comes in. Designed as a true exam simulation, Abhyas recreates the real UPSC. Prelims experience the same pattern, the same time constraints and the same intensity. It places you in a national arena, competing with aspirants across India, backed by an all-India ranking that reveals your true standing. Attempted by 1 in 3 top 50 rankers, Abhyas has become a trusted benchmark for serious aspirants. With detailed post-test analysis, live discussions and complete syllabus coverage in both English and Hindi, it ensures your preparation is not just extensive but exam-ready. 3 full-length offline simulations will be conducted across 100+ cities on 5th April, 19th April and 10th May. From 9:30 am to 11:30 am for General Studies, that is Paper 1, and 2:30 pm to 4:30 pm for CSAT, that's Paper 2. Challenge your preparation, test your performance. For more information or register, visit our website or call us on the given numbers.